G'day everyone, my name's Faye. If you don't know me, that's fine. If you do know me, g'day. I thought I'd just do the top orchard for this video and upload it to YouTube. I'll preface with saying I'm not an expert at any means. Some stuff I do right, some stuff I do wrong, some stuff I wing it. Take everything I say with a generous grain of salt and do with the information I provide as you see fit. I'm pretty rough around the edges. Nothing is clean, neat or tidy. Actually, usually it's clean, but it's very ever rarely neat or tidy. It's quite often chaotic and very disorganised, but it is largely functional. I live in rural New South Wales, Australia. I live off of rain collection. I do not have town water or city water. The noise behind me is my water pump, and this is my top orchard / goose pen, and I thought I'd take this for a walk around of it today. I will start probably on this side. You'll have to excuse the geese, they're getting very animated. So we have fruit trees, we have garden beds. I use tyres to plant my fruit trees in. Otherwise they get waterlogged, they get root rot, because this place was cultivated before we bought the place in 2019. And the ground is very spongy and retains a lot of water, and this just lifting them up into the tyres just gives the roots a little bit more of a chance to sort of not be sitting in water, and allows the trees to establish themselves a little bit before we have heavy rain. We've had pretty heavy and intense rain the last few years, and so that's been a constant battle. I also do tyres for my herbs. So I've got curry leaf, I've got 2 kinds of rosemary. I did have a lemongrass, but the geese and the ducks really like it, so when they get out of here I will redo my lemongrass and I'll finish doing these tyres all the way down. We have a kumquat, which these are less than 12 months old and they're already fruiting and flowering. They have done very, very well. I have a lemon, again, less than 12 months old. The geese, for whatever reason, really like to chew this right down, so we've had to cage it. It's an old dog crate that was broken, so we've just repurposed it, and that has worked really well. It's less than 12 months old. It's now got lemons on it. This is a mandarin tree that doesn't actually fruit, but we leave it in here for shade. And also because it's just a nice tree. It's a waste of space really, but I'm hoping with another couple of years it may actually end up fruiting like some of the other stuff has. These over here are finger limes. These are Australian natives. This one has got flowers coming up, which you can see here. They're tiny and delicate. And the fruit varies from what looks like a tiny avocado, but will get large. These are also spiky, but will get larger. I won't say they're massive fruit, but they will get larger. You see a larger one in here compared to the others. 2 a long sausage-like fruit, like this one. That one's almost ready to pick, actually. They are quite spiky, as you can see. I still enjoy them. They're one of my favourite fruits. That's a bay leaf tree. I've actually had that since my old property, and it was confined to a pot, but it's now been planted out the last couple of years, and it is shot up. It was only about so tall, and it's now shot up and looking good. We've got crackerjack ants, which are a nasty, stinging, venomous ant. Not very nice, but they don't cause us too much issue. I have a persimmon. I've got 2. This one is a teardrop or something, an oval-shaped one. It grows long. It's quite sweet. They're like brown sugar. I've quite enjoyed eating them. I've only had 1 crop last year, and this will be my 2nd crop. The possums also really like them, so that's a constant battle. They're not ripe yet. Be another probably couple of months before those are ripe. Pomegranates. These 2 pomegranates here. They're planted at the same time, but that one has just struggled its whole life, considering they're right next to each other. But this one has flowered pretty much consistently every year since we planted it in. But this is the first year where it's actually gotten fruit. Got about half a dozen fruit. My Muscovy ducks have had a bit of a go at them, so they're all scratched up. But a lot of them, it's still flowering. Still got more fruit coming up. So I'm pretty chuffed. I'll have to cut the top off of it once it's finished fruiting. But yeah, that one hasn't done anything. I'm hoping with a bit of time it will. That was a vine, but it has since perished. I'm going to pull that up and repurpose it for something else. This is one of my favourite orange trees. It's my best producer and got some of the best oranges going. We've got a little native cockroach, which will gross some people out, but they're not all bad. I get bad stink bugs or shield beetles, whatever you want to call it, with these citrus trees. So it's just been, I've just attacked it with the hose to hose the beetles out. Another pomegranate. That's actually a weed. It was an apple tree. We haven't had a lot of luck with apple trees. So we've got 2 more kumquats. This has actually got 2 of our family dogs buried. 15-year-old Jock and Bella. I've just got to turn this off. I've just refilled this up for the ducks and geese. There we go. Just hang this back up, because that'll make them nice and happy. Yes, there's a bit of rubbish and stuff around. It is very disorganised. I need to do weeding, and I need to set up these tyres for more trees later on. The pomegranate, that is, I only got planted that, March of this year, and it's already got flowers, so it's not even 12 months old, and I'm pretty chuffed with how that one's gone along. But the kumquats, again, less than 12 months old, and they've done so well and established so efficiently that we've already got fruit and flowers coming up on all 3. These are naginis. I can't remember what the other one is. I've got boots on for this. These are my Muscovy drakes. This is from Bunnings. It's a hybrid, a nectarine plum mix. Now, it's been planted here also since my birthday. It hasn't really done anything. It hasn't died, but it hasn't got shoots coming off yet. I just check it for flexibility. If it's still nice and springy, then I know it is still alive. I'm guessing it's probably going to wait until it cools off a little bit. We did have to tie it on with the star pick at the start with, but it seems to be relatively stable now. It's just a fairly whimsy tree, but that's still going well. This ramshackle thing is a peach tree. It's going to get cut down and chucked into a garden bed as fill, because the peach trees have steadily been dying due to fungal issues, and although this one was a really good producer, every year I cut it back to try and preserve what healthy tissue is left, and more of it dies back. So I've given up, and it's going to get cut down and it's going to be thrown to one of the garden beds. Speaking of garden beds, lots of weeds around, because I haven't got around to whippersnipping or mowing in here. The geese normally keep everything chomped down, but all this false mint and more brackeny kind of stuff they don't like, so I've got to come in and rip it out by hand, and it will go and won't go to waste. It'll go as fill. This is a self-seeded cucurbit, pumpkin, zucchini, dunno. It's starting to flower. It'll get fruit. I'll find out what it is when it starts to fruit. This is also a bok choy that has seeded itself, or a pak choy. There's a garden bed in there, as you can see by the post. It was being filled, but it's been taken over by the weeds and some self-seeded tomato plants, which will be all done away with. This will all be cleaned up and just used to fill that garden bed, because that garden bed has sunk right down and needs to be filled back up. So a lot of this will get cut down and used as fill for that. To this garden bed, I cleared this out the other week. It has been reseeded this week, and it's got salad crops, root crops, so beets, silver beet, lettuces. I think I did leeks as well. I did some flower crops just for pollinators. Those really chewed up looking Brussels sprouts. I got sick last week, and unfortunately I was not down here to keep the insects off of them, and they've been chewed to hell. They haven't died, and there's a little bit of new growth coming back up, so I'm hoping that I've got the bugs under control again. As bad as they look, that it will actually pop back and I will have Brussels sprouts in a few months. I don't eat them, my family likes them, so but you can see some of my seeds have come up. I try and have wood chips down here, because it does get very slimy and slippery, because the water tends to run down here. These beds are empty. That needs to be redone. This one needs to be refilled. I normally grow like either beans, tomatoes, anything that's viney and likes to climb, usually gets put into those. This bed, so we've got salad crops, and I've got my capsicums, bell peppers, sweet bell peppers, whatever you want to call them, and my eggplants or aubergines. They're only new. I got them from Bunnings last week and planted them out here. I just top dressed this with some basic garden soil mix from Bunnings. This is a wheelbarrow full of crap I need to get rid of. And it is getting quite warm. I'm in a full uniform at the moment with like heavy boots on, heavy pants and the whole shebang. So it's getting hot. It's meant to be 38, high 90s, 100 degrees today. So I'll try and wrap this up fairly quickly. But you've got some more seed crops coming up. They're just mixed seeds. Same as this. I've got rainbow child or silver beet, whatever you want to call it. Some flowers in there. Some herbs like parsley, a little bit of coriander, even though it's getting too hot for coriander. There's basil. Have these beautiful flower seeds in there. They're not edible, can't even remember what they are, but they're just in the mix. They're quite nice, they've been quite pretty. But there's endive, there's watercress, not watercress, landcress or peppercress, whatever I call it. It's quite bitey. It's similar to rocket, but very, very bitey. Has quite a bit of kick. As I said, I've got some parsley, we've got endive, lettuce. It's all just, they're expired seed packets. I just mix them all up together and threw them in because they're all compatible to put with each other. That's a salt bush. It's just finished fruiting. It's a native. I am going to actually pull it out and move it. God, that smells good. Move it somewhere else. It does still have some more berries coming up. I actually thought it was finished, but now I'm looking at it. It's got heaps more to come. But I am going to move it because even though the geese and the ducks quite like feeding off it, it has crawled out of the bed and is starting to reach to the ground, so it needs its own space. These are some broccolinis or loose heading broccoli, whatever you want to call it. These keep getting cropped back by the geese. Occasionally bugs and stuff get to it, but I come in and I'll just snick out what I want. And I'll take it up for lunch, which I'll be doing today. And that's my asparagus. I've already done my asparagus harvest, and now it's just the plant itself is it's flowered, it's starting to bear its seeds. If you don't know, asparagus seeds are actually not edible. They're quite toxic, I believe. I just pull them off and I'll just throw them back into the garden in the hopes that they might take off one day, because eventually I would like this whole bed to be asparagus. I just plant other stuff to fill in the soil. This bed over here is nothing. It's just weeds. It was meant to be full of more salad crops this year. However, I didn't get around to planting it out, and it's now out of control with weeds. The geese normally stomp a lot of this down, but because they had goslings and stuff in here, and some of them were quite aggressive about it this year, I kind of just let them go. You're going to hear some of the dogs howling in a second because they haven't been let out yet, some of them. And they know I'm out here and I'm not inside dealing with them, which is fine. They will be okay. So that needs to all be cleared. So this will get ripped up and that'll be put into that far end bed, and it'll basically be used as garden fill, because we don't waste anything, not even the weeds here. And also because like the geese are not really going through this, so it's becoming very overgrown. They've stamped tracks and stuff through it, and the ducks come through and have themselves a feed on all the bugs and stuff, and occasionally mice. I will see the ducks run past, particularly the muscovies with the mouse in their beaks. But this will all be stomped down, weeded, stomped down. I'll throw cardboard down here, do a load of wood chips, which I have to get more wood chips, and it'll be a walkway again, and I'll try and keep on better on top of it. It is mainly me that just does this, so it gets away from me sometimes because I do have multiple other things. But it's all work in progress, as anything is. But yeah, your weeds, if these have got seed heads and stuff on, I'll still use them to fill garden beds because I usually end up smothering that out. Like that's all I've done with these ones. If you're wondering, which most people usually do, all the garden beds are made out of old fencing and roofing material. So the supports, the struts, the beams, the wooden rails, everything, they just get repurposed. And all the old sheet metal, corrugated iron and stuff, we just use that for the walls, and we just fill it in. The corners, as you'll see, there's holes in the corners. But there's no piles up of dirt, because when as I weed and stuff, I'll fill the corners up with the weeds. And also, like, I've got sheep and goats, and even sometimes I'll take feathers and stuff from the birds, and I'll basically plug the holes and fill in the dirt in and around those piles. So that helps stop the dirt washing out when either it rains or I'm hosing. You can also see that this bed is quite low. They do get refilled on a regular basis. About every 12 months, I'll usually just pick a bed to focus on for an extended period and just fill it. I'll put, if we have an animal that dies for whatever reason, like a chook or something, and I can't use it for food, it will go into the garden beds. Fish scraps, garden waste will go into the garden beds if it can't be used as fodder for the animals. Bits of wood, manure, because I have the sheep and the goats, we put manure, same with the ducks and the chickens. The geese, we don't collect their manure because it's pretty wet and slimy. But this was top dressed with dirt from Bunnings, but originally it was filled with weeds like this. We filled this bed up. It has already sunk down, as you can see. I did muck out my poultry kill pens. I have a big pen that I mucked out. Not this bed, what am I doing? And it was used, because I use a mix of wood shavings and sawdust and wood chips. I have a rat living in this garden bed. Can you see that burrow? I will put a trap out for that, and we will get rid of that. We do get rats in here. Not often, because the dogs tend to kill most things like that. But this bed was filled completely only a few months ago. You can see around the edges it's starting to settle and sink down. This is all duck and chicken waste from one of my kill pens. I'm surprised, because normally it's so acidic or high nitrogen that most things won't grow in this, but cucurbits are high nitrogen feeders, so it's probably having a ball in here, honestly. That come up on its own. I'll just see if it's going to grow out. It's had the guts ripped out of it. But I have to sort out that rat hole. There'll definitely be rats in that bed. I do have ferrets and stuff that I stick down here. Sheep and goats, they could be out grazing, but they've been probably out all night. So they're just sitting there chewing the cud. So my beds are usually filled up like this, all the way. And if I need them, I'll top dress them with just some dirt or something, like I did with that one up there. But I don't need this one this year. I didn't need this one. This is just an interesting little surprise. And so it will sink down, it will settle, it'll break down, and probably March or April of 2026, I will see where this is at. I'll probably top dress it with a little bit of just loose soil mix, and I'll plant my winter crops and stuff in this bed. It is getting hot, so I'm going to cut the video here. Actually, no, I won't. I'll quickly, just with the ducks and the geese, they're just here for pest control. I don't breed ducks anymore. I still breed the geese, but they're done for the year. The geese eat a lot of greenery, if you're interested. So a lot of the any like self-seeded plants and stuff or vegetable waste I can just chuck over and they'll eat it. Same for grass and stuff. There are some weeds they'll eat. There are a lot of weeds they won't eat. They don't like false mint, but they've always got grain handy. So yes, people will see that and immediately go, that's why you got rats. Actually don't often have rats because we stay on top of it with dogs and ferrets. We do not keep cats here. Cats are cats that are found outside are destroyed on site by either the dogs or by guns, because cats are an invasive species here in Australia, and having barn cats or farm cats as people call them is not viable. It doesn't achieve anything. They do not control the rodent population, as is consistently demonstrated by the plagues that we have in and around the place. We have millions of feral cats and there are millions of pet and farm cats around the joint. But yet they do not control the rodent population. So they're just killed on site But the Muscovies are pretty good. They're actually quite voracious. If we get small finches and stuff that get stuck in here, they will eat them. They are quite fearsome eaters. Oh, and people are going to be asking about the netting on the roof. It is very run down. It needs to be repaired or replaced in some patches. Or just patchwork back together. I need to cut these silky oaks down. But again, that's a big job. The longer I live, the bigger the job is going to be. But again, I do most of this on my own, so it's all sort of like priority. So usually I do housework and the animals first, and then stuff like gardens and tree chopping and roof comes a bit later. The other orchard, the back half of this, which I'll do in another video, has been better maintained, and we were able to patch it a lot more easily. It is much higher, and I'm not big on heights, but we're able to do it. This one has been a long work in progress, and it still is a work in progress, so we will eventually get there, but until then you're just going to have to deal with how ugly it all is. But yeah, but as far as ducks go, they are great pest control, and they don't tend to jump up and mess your gardens up. I quite like the Muscovies because they're basically a giant feathered dog, but they can be aggressive and they are quite large, but they are also very good eating. If you're interested in ducks, we do have some little cool ducks hanging around somewhere, but I don't know where they are. They tend to slip in and out, unlike the geese and the bigger ducks. These guys are down the back. There's the little cool ducks. You can see them there. There's 4 little drakes. There was more. They get themselves into trouble because we do get wedge-tails, we do get foxes occasionally. Again, the dogs will kill the foxes. I've also got a loose rooster that's hiding down there. The dogs will kill the foxes, but sometimes the foxes get lucky and they'll get in. The geese tend to let us know of everything. All this greenery is weeds that the geese don't really eat, so that got mowed yesterday. And I've got some more fruit trees and stuff down here as well. So, yeah. Any questions or comments, go ahead. If you just want to be mean and nasty, go for it. I don't really care. I'm just going to either ignore you or you're just going to get blocked. I don't have the energy. So yeah, it is really hot now. I'm going to go get changed into something a bit cooler. Have a good day. And I'll catch you on the flip side, I guess. Ciao.